Going on, guys? Back with episode 4 of the MLB The Show 22 Pirates rebuild and franchise. We had a good year last year. Henry Davis came up, produced. Brian Hayes, O'Neal Cruz. We had a lot of guys really make progress in their development. We had some good young pitchers we got in trades. We got some guys to develop, could really make the rotation next year. And really, we have a few question marks. Obviously, first base and right fielder question marks. But really, could be a huge season for us. But I'm going to go ahead and re-sign some players, do arbitration, do coach signings and all that, and I will see you guys when free agency is. What's going on, guys? Back with another episode of the franchise, rebuilding the Pittsburgh Pirates. I did the 40-man roster, the offer, salary arbitration, the tender contracts, all that stuff. Looking at this roster, we need maybe a starter or two. One of my options is possibly signing 2 starters to pair with Zach Thompson, Andres Alfonso, and Joey LaCasey, and maybe give Jackson Joby, Keller, and Detmer's time in the minor leagues. Obviously, Keller's an older guy. He's got 3 years to arbitration, but he really struggled last year. But he's still young. He's older than the other 2 is what I meant, but he still has time to get back on track. Maybe a year in the minor leagues or maybe a long relief pitcher would be a better role for him. We'll see who we could sign. Bullpen, not looking too solid. We need to add a few arms, at least 2 or 3 guys in the bullpen. We need a closer. Heath Hembry, we offered him a deal, but we don't know if he's going to come back. And even if he does, I don't know if he'll be the option, a closer. Henry Davis, obviously, he's got the catcher spot. We're going to get rid of Michael Perez. We don't really have a backup catcher, so that might be something we need to look into, or possibly call up Abraham Gutierrez. He's 23, could be a solid backup, but we could want to give him time in the minor league to develop. We'll see what's out there. First base, obviously Vogelback had a solid year, but he's not the everyday answer at first base. Tyler Nevin played solid, but also only a 63. He's not the everyday answer. Maybe more of a bench guy. Second base, Van Meter and probably Taylor Walls would probably be the answer. Taylor Walls struggled last year, but I'm hoping he can bounce back. He's still only 26. Switch hitter. Could also play second and third if we need him to. And then Josh Van Meter had a really good year last year. He batted over 280, 12 homers, career high. I mean, he had a good year, so we're going to give him an opportunity to platoon and maybe be a utility guy. Platoon, we'll see. And then Brian Hayes obviously has third base, shortstop O'Neal Cruz. Third base, Andujar might not be the highest overall, but he had a really good year last year. He played a lot of games. He was healthy for the first time in 3 years. He had his best year in 3 years. And he has 2 more years till free agency, so he'll be 30 by the time he hits free agency, or 31. So we're going to give him every opportunity to prove himself. Maybe he plays well, maybe he doesn't. We'll see how he performs. And then Brian Reynolds, obviously, re-signed him to that huge deal, $98 million till 2028. So he's our cornerstone guy in our lineup, the guy who's really going to carry us. And then right field, the highest overall we got is Connor Scott, and obviously he ain't ready. We added him to the 40-man, but he's not ready. And we have our young prospect, Tino Cabrera, but he might take a few years to develop. He's only a 58 overall. Maybe by the time he's 25, 26, he'll be our everyday right fielder. We'll see when that time comes. But let's get to it. Let's get to free agency. Let's see what's out there for our team to try to improve. We have a lot of money to spend. We don't really. Brian Reynolds is the only guy we have signed long term. But I'm trying to keep it realistic because the Pirates aren't known to be a team that offers a lot of money to free agents. So I might sign a few guys to 1-year deals or maybe 2-year deals, but we're not going to sign someone like Kershaw or Aaron Nola to a huge 6-year deal or whatever. It just don't fit the Pirates' repertoire to do that. So let's look and see what we got. We could, like I said, sign 2 starters and give those guys time in the minor league, which I'm leaning towards doing because pitching was really our downfall last year. Our lineup was fine. And maybe we go and sign someone like Louise Selvarino. He's an 85 overall, had a good year last year. He's only 29. He was healthy last year. It sucks he's been hurt a lot in real life, but he could be a guy we sign, we bring in, we can put him in that ace spot and really hope that he can be our ace. So that's someone I'm probably going to offer a deal to. Might offer him around $15 million, 1-year deal. He can come in, be our ace, like I said. Maybe go after someone like Chris Bassett, who had a good year last year, he's 34. He won't want a ton of money. Or maybe Sean Manaea, who came off a really good year. He's 31. We can give a 1-year deal. Whoever performs better between those two, maybe we bring back, or maybe we ship them both out and have those three young guys in our rotation next year. We'll see. But I think Sean Manaea, we're going to offer him a deal. Probably around the same price range. Maybe $14.5 million. I know that's almost $30 million combined, but it's not long-term commitments for the Pirates, so it's not that much of a bargain, or not bargain, but hurting the franchise. So those are going to be the two guys we offer deals to. And for the bullpen, there's options. There's nobody that's going to change our franchise out of the bullpen. Chad Green's a really good relief pitcher, but he's probably going to want too much money. At a hell of a year last year. Maybe someone like Keone Kela. I know he pitched with the Pirates before. He had a bad year last year. Maybe we can offer him a 1-year deal, maybe $5 million. Hopefully he can come in, bounce back. We could put him in that closer role. Maybe he could become an elite closer. I know a few years ago in franchise, he was really good as a closer when he was with the Pirates, so maybe he could bring that mojo back again. And maybe someone like Trevor Rosenthal. Obviously he didn't pitch last year, but he's not going to want a ton of money. We offer him $2.7 million. He's still only 32. He could be a trade chip if we're out of it. He adds a veteran to our bullpen who really needs some help right now. And maybe sign someone. Trying to see. There's a lot of older guys here we're going to just decline overall. Maybe someone like Michael Givens. Obviously he had a down year last year, but he could just add a veteran presence. There's not really a lot of young guys available. Dylan Betances, you got Shane Green. I mean, there's just not a lot of guys that are really going to help too much in our bullpen. But we need some help. So I'm going to offer Miguel Castro a deal. He's really cheap. He's still only 28. I'll offer him $1.7 million. He had a okay year last year with the Mets, and he's still young. So maybe he could bring that mojo back, pitch well for us. He was really good last few years with the Orioles before he got traded to the Mets. Had a few good years last year, or 2021 he was good. So he's a guy we're definitely going to offer. So we offered 3 relief pitchers. I don't know if I'm going to offer any closers contracts because I feel like one of them guys we could put in the closer role for cheaper and see how they perform. Obviously there's some options with Edwin Diaz and Ryan Presley and Kenley Jansen and Corey Knebel. But I mean, I don't want to offer too much money and be handcuffed and not have no money to spend in any other positions because we still need first base and right field. Backup catcher, I mean, there's some options. Maybe someone like Wilson Ramos can come in, be our catcher. We could bring Yadi in. Wouldn't that be funny? Him in a Pirates uniform. I'm a Cardinal fan. I couldn't do that to myself. So maybe someone like Jason Castro, we could bring him in, have him be our backup. He's not going to be very expensive. Maybe offer him $3.2 million. Bring him in. He could be the backup catcher for Henry Davis. Like I've talked about, Abraham Gutierrez is consideration, but it'd be better if we just give him time to develop. Maybe next year he could be our backup. And then first base. We need a first baseman badly. Our best first baseman is Tyler Nevin. Solid bench player, but not ready to be an everyday first baseman. Could put Josh Van Meter at first base since he, I think, can play second, third, outfield. He could pretty much play anywhere, but I don't know if that's really... It'd be better off of him and Taylor Walls, like I said, do a platoon-type role and kind of have one-hit lefties, one-hit righties. I know Taylor Walls is a switch hitter, but he struggled a lot, so... We're looking at the options. Obviously, Max Muncy would be a hell of an addition, but he's going to be way too expensive coming off a 34 home run year, 118 runs batted in. Had a good year. Jose Abreu obviously could be an option, but he's probably going to return to Chicago with the White Sox. Jesus Aguilar coming off a 27 home run year. Could be a good one-year addition. Marlins probably want him back. They offered him 1 year, $6.2 million. That's not too steep. Could definitely top that. Trey Mancini, Marlins want him as well. Coming off a down year, we could get him for cheap. He's 31, so we'd only probably offer him a one-year deal, especially coming off a down year. Bring him in, could play right field, center field, left field, first base, could DH for us if we need him to. So really, could be a solid addition for our team. And then Josh Bell, I know he was a Pirate before, but I mean, he don't have any contract offers. He's still only 30. maybe bring him in as a DH or possibly a first base. So I'm going to offer Josh Bell a contract to return to Pittsburgh. I'm going to offer him $6.5 million and see if he accepts that. He could come in, not really be a long-term solution, but maybe a 1 or 2 year gap. We draft a first baseman or maybe get a trade for a first baseman. Colton Wong would be a great addition, but he's going to want too much money. Maybe 10, well, 10 a year ain't really too bad, but we kind of like having Van Meter and Taylor Walls, even though I'd love to have Colton Wong to help with the defense. Third base, I'm going to offer this young guy a deal. We don't have a lot of third basemen in the system behind Key Brian Hayes, and he could be a guy that comes up and kind of be that platoon guy. And then Hanser Alberto, I would sign him, but he's going to want too much money. I mean, $3 million per guy might even be at the major league. And then we have a young guy right here, a young shortstop, A potential. Really a good steal right there at shortstop. Could be a backup, could be a guy that develops. And now we need an outfielder. So we got, like I said, Andujar in left. Matt Frazier's an option to be our fourth outfielder, maybe a platoon guy. We'll see how our team's looking. But there's a lot of options. You got Joey Gallo. Obviously, he's probably way out of our price range, coming off a 34-homer year. We could use some extra power in the lineup, but probably not at that price. Benintendi would be a good option. He's coming off a really a good year, 21 homers, 272 average, 55 runs batted in. Could be an option. He's still only 28, so he would fit in our time frame. And maybe Jock Peterson, still only 30. We sign him to a 1-year deal, see how he performs. Center field, not really looking like a lot of options. Obviously, Kevin Kiermaier, but we'd have to put him in left or right because Brian Reynolds has center field on lock, so that wouldn't really make sense. And then right fields, what we really need, obviously, I would love to sign Aaron Judge. He would fit our team perfectly. He's 30, but him and Brian Reynolds, lefty, righty, back to back in that lineup would be pretty damn good, but I don't know if we're going to offer. Let's see how much money Aaron Judge wants. $175 million. I don't see that being the Pirates type way, so I'm not going to do that. Obviously, we have Mitch Haniger coming off a good year, 26 home runs, still drove an 86, played almost every game. Brandon Nimmo coming off a career year. He could be a guy we signed to maybe a 1 or 2 year deal to put him in right field. We have Adam Duvall coming off a good year. Manuel Margot, still young. He could be an answer. He's not really a power guy, but a good speed guy, a good fielder. Whit Merrifield could be an option. Obviously, he had a down year last year. Only hit 3 homers, only hit 223. Will Myers had 20 home runs. He's still only 32. And maybe we give him a deal, see if he can have another good deal or another good year. And Conforto, I mean, would love to bring him back. It's just, I mean, he played well when he played, but he only played 85 games. Could consider it, but I feel like maybe a fresh face in the outfield would be a better option. So we're going to see what Brandon Nimmo's asking for. Obviously, we could offer him a 2-year, $10 million a year, which wouldn't be steep for the Pirates. We give him 2 years out in right field. We let some of our young outfielders develop. We see how that goes and really see how he performs. Another lefty in that lineup, and maybe sign someone like Nomar Mazara to maybe a cheap deal, $2.5 million. Maybe our fourth outfielder or a guy in the minor leagues. He's still only 27. It feels like he's been around forever, but he just never really has found that consistency since he left the Texas Rangers. Obviously, he had 3 20 home run a year campaigns, and he had a 19 home run campaign. But ever since he went to the White Sox and Tigers, he really hasn't found his home run swing again, or really his swing at the plate, period. So he had 8 home runs last year, but had 266. Maybe if we can't sign Nimmo, we bring him in. Maybe hope he has a bounce back. I think that's why he's considering us, because he knows he'll get a lot more playing time. So we'll see about that. But really, I think that's all we need to offer right now. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know what went on, who signed with us, who I signed. So I will see you guys in the next clip. Free agency's over. We're spring training. I'm going to show you guys the signings real quick to end this video. So we went, and some of the signings were expected, the ones I showed you guys, and then we didn't get a few of them, so we went and signed a few others. We got Louise Selvarino, good addition to our rotation, only a 1-year deal. If he performs well, we'll sign him to another long-term deal, most likely. But he's our ace. A potential great signing. And we went and signed a former Pirate to bring him back to Pittsburgh, Jamison Tyon. And I know you guys are thinking, why would you bring Tyon back? He was already with the Pirates for several years. They traded him. There weren't a lot of teams that were offering him contract. So I thought, why not? He could be a 1 year rental for us, maybe bring him back on a long-term deal. We'll see. But I mean, he kind of gives us flexibility out of the rotation. We can give these three guys time to develop in the minor leagues. And it kind of works out. So our rotation will be looking like Selvarino, Tyon, Thompson, Alfonso, and LaCasey. Really solid rotation. It's not spectacular, but it's a solid rotation. And then in the bullpen, obviously John Curtis, Richards, Heath Hembry ended up returning. We signed Rosenthal. Yimi Garcia came in. Miguel Castro signed with us. So most of the guys I said we were going to look to sign. And then Keone Keller, we ended up putting him in the closer spot. We'll see how he performs. If he struggles, we'll go with somebody else, but we ended up signing him. Jason Castro signed, backup catcher. Really no issues there. And then we got Josh Bell, who came back. We got two former Pirates returning to where they got drafted, Josh Bell and Tyon, two guys we traded away a few seasons ago, but we needed some guys to fill in spots. There are no long-term commitments. They're 1 year deals. 1 year, $6.5 million, nothing crazy. He had a solid year last year. We'll probably have him DH, play first, probably do all that. And then second base, we didn't sign anybody. Third base, we signed this young guy. 20 years old, see potential, but he's got solid power, nothing spectacular, but maybe he could develop, turn into something. O'Neal Cruz, obviously we didn't need to sign a shortstop. Miguel Andujar, we didn't really sign anybody crazy in left field. And then we brought back Monty Harrison. Obviously, he's still only 27. We didn't bring him up last year, but he's still on the major league roster. And then right field, we ended up signing Brandon Nimmo to a 2 year deal, $10 million a year. Nothing to break the bank. He had a really good year last year, career year. So we'll see how he does on our team. Definitely adds more power. And then we signed Nomar Mazara, kind of be our fourth outfielder, maybe a guy in the minor leagues. He's still young, could kind of turn around. So we'll see what he can do. So that's the free agent signings. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this edition of the franchise. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next season.